a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at a table of brotherhood. These influential words were said by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which have been heard around the world, just like the first shot of the Revolutionary War. No matter your personal background, ethnicity, or personal preferences, you all at one time or another have had a dream. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had many dreams. Some have said that his overall purpose of these goals was to live in harmony and peace within each race. Today I plan to inform all of you on a dream that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had and his influence on the world. Specifically, we will look into the purposes behind his dreams and the ultimate outcome on the present day and future. We will start by looking into Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s youth and the reasoning behind his aspirations. Growing up within the civil rights movement, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Lived in a difficult and very segregated lifestyle, remaining very religious and staying very positive during these harsh times proved to be very difficult for most. However, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. never forgot where he came from and remained true to his dreams for many years following. According to the Nobel Foundation of 1964, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the very few African Americans to graduate from high school that was segregated and to continue his education through his love and religion by graduating from Morehouse College just like his father and grandfather. His experiences within the segregated neighborhood schools and life in general inspired him for a life of equality. According to the King Center, a foundation promised to keep his word alive. Another influence on the purpose behind Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches and dreams happened to be his children. He made a family with his wife after they met in 1953. They then went on to have 4 children. In many of his speeches, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. often referred to his children and the life of separation they had endured during this upbringing. Continuing with the information available from the King Center, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an avid believer in religion, which some have said is one of the only things that brought many ethnicities together. His belief system were widely dependent on his father, who was a pastor in a church and a majored avid during the civil rights movement. Now that we have learned about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s childhood histories, we will now take a closer look into some of his speeches and the purposes behind them. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had many speeches over time, and most will argue that they are all just as important as the last. However, when it comes to his I Have a Dream speech, many believe that this is the major and most influential during America. According to Stanford University, the speech I Have Had a Dream took place during the March of Washington in 1963. The march took place hopes for equality, freedom, and jobs for everyone. There were an estimated 300,000 people in attendance during his speech. There were many focal points within the speech that had outlined in front of his audience. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. The specific point made in this speech has been very influential throughout his history, especially those who have children. Many want the best for their children and believe that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. just wanted his children to live in a world where they were not scrutinized for their race or their skin color. Lastly, we will take a look into the hopes and dreams for America and how his words for inspiration inspired America's life today. According to the Constitution Center, the entire purpose behind Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches and other beneficial acts was to bring everyone together and to not be separated by their differences. While we no longer live in a segregated community, as we had clear aspirations to repent in his speeches, this does not necessarily clarify that he is the main benefactor to the changing, but it is safe to say that he was one of the major benefactors. Many people have played a major part during the Civil Rights Movement, such as Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, and many more. The place that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had created for himself enabled him to speak to mass crowds of every walk of life. Many say that this is one of his reasons he is so influential in America today. Although many will say that racism is still here today, most will agree that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. played a major benefactor in making this world a better place. Hopefully in this speech, it has enlightened all of you on the impact that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had on America in the world today, and possibly even on your own life. Everyone has a dream. The important thing to know about the dream is that in reality, if you want it to become true, you have to work hard enough.